All right, so let's dive into something I think we all love, talking about saving money,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to car insurance.
right.
That thing we all need, but no one really wants to deal with.
Absolutely.
So you've sent us a ton of information about lowering car insurance costs.
Yeah,
So let's do a deep dive into this and see what we can find.
absolutely. Let's see what kind of interesting tricks and tips we can unearth here.
Yeah, what gems can we find?
Yeah,
Okay, so one of the things that keeps coming up in this information is shopping around.
right.
But I think we can all agree that no one wants to spend hours comparing car insurance quotes.
It's definitely not the most exciting way to spend an afternoon.
No, it's not. So
Okay.
what's the most efficient way to do this?
Well, you're right. It can be kind of a drag. But, the thing is, you could save a good chunk of change
Okay.
if you put in a little bit of legwork up front.
Okay.
So my advice is to start with those comparison websites. They can give you a good idea of what's out there. And then here's the pro tip. After you've done that and you've kind of narrowed it down to maybe your top 3,
Okay.
actually call the insurance companies directly.
Wait, really? You're telling me, pick up the phone and talk to a human?
Yeah.
I thought everything was automated.
Sometimes those online quotes are just the starting point,
Okay.
Sometimes when you connect with a real person, they can maybe find an additional discount or they'll be able to,
Oh, wow.
negotiate a little bit.
See? Already learning something new.
There you go.
Okay, so we shopped around. We've got our quotes.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about deductibles, because this is something that I think a lot of people kind of understand, but maybe not fully.
Right.
How do I know what deductible is right for me?
So this is where things get really interesting. It's all about understanding the connection between your deductible and your premium.
Okay.
You can think of it like a seesaw,
Okay.
When your deductible goes up, your premium goes down.
I like that visual. But how high should I go with that deductible?
Well, it really comes down to your risk tolerance and how you're doing financially.
Okay.
If you're a safe driver, you've got a good record and you have that emergency fund built up, you can probably go with a higher deductible.
Okay.
You're basically, kind of betting on yourself that you're not going to need to file a claim.
I like that.
Yeah.
But what if I'm maybe more prone to, I don't know, parking lot mishaps?
Sure.
Maybe I need to think about a lower deductible, even if that means my premium is a little bit higher.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to weigh the savings with, the risk that you're willing to take.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
This is making me think about a friend of mine who swears by telematics insurance.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that black box thing that tracks your driving?
Right.
I always thought that sounded kind of creepy, but she insists it saves her a ton of money.
It definitely can.
Really?
Yeah, especially if you consider yourself to be, a good driver or a responsible driver.
Right.
The technology is really quite amazing these days.
Okay.
It's not just about how fast you're going anymore. They're tracking things like braking, cornering, even what time of day you're driving.
Wow.
It's almost like having, a silent passenger sitting next to you giving you a driving score in real time.
So it's like I'm constantly being tested, but with the potential for a reward instead of just a pass or fail.
Exactly. And if you do well consistently, you can get some really nice discounts on those premiums.
Okay, that is making me rethink my insurance strategy.
Yeah.
So who would you say benefits the most from this kind of insurance?
A lot of times it's younger drivers.
Oh,
You know how they get hit with those really high rates just because of their age?
yeah, just because of their age group?
Yeah. And this can actually be a way for them to prove, that they are careful drivers.
Right, and actually show that they're not the stereotype.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear a lot more about this telematics thing.
We can dive into that a little bit more.
But before we do that, there's
Yeah.
another very classic insurance strategy that I think we have to talk about, and that is bundling.
Yes. It's like the, buying in bulk of the insurance world.
Right.
Basically, you're combining multiple policies. You might have your car insurance, and then you also bundle that with your homeowners or renters insurance,
Right.
and you get a discount.
Yeah, it's like they're rewarding you for giving them more of your business.
Right.
But is it always the best way to go?
That is a great question. And honestly, the answer is sometimes no. It's a popular tactic, but it's important to still shop around,
Okay.
Just because one company will give you that bundle discount doesn't mean it's the cheapest overall.
Right.
So you always want to compare that price with what you would be paying for individual policies with different companies.
So it's not a magic bullet, but it's definitely something to look into.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
I feel like we are just scratching the surface here
Oh, yeah.
of all this insurance wisdom.
There's a lot more to talk about.
So let's take a little pause here. And when we come back, we will dive even deeper into all of this car insurance stuff and really help you become a savings ninja.
All right. Sounds good. I'm ready. Welcome back.
Okay, so we're back.
We've got a lot more to talk about when it comes to saving on car insurance.
I'm ready to become a true insurance ninja, but one thing that has always baffled me is how they even decide
Right.
how much to charge us for car insurance.
Yeah.
Like, what is that secret formula?
Yeah, it does seem like kind of a black box sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But really what they're trying to do is predict how likely you are to file a claim.
Okay.
And to do that, they look at a whole bunch of different factors.
So it's more than just like whether or not I've had an accident in the past.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
They're looking at things like your age, your gender, your driving history, of course, the type of car you drive where you live,
Wow.
even your credit score in some cases.
Really?
Yeah, it's a whole big equation.
So even if I have like a perfect driving record,
Yeah,
all these other things can still impact my rates.
exactly. And that's why it's so important to shop around and compare quotes from different companies,
Okay.
because they each weigh those factors a little differently.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what might be really expensive with one could be totally reasonable with another.
Okay, so you're saying like, even if my driving record is spotless,
Uh-huh.
there are all these other things that they are looking at
Exactly.
that I need to take into consideration.
Yep.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Now let's talk about another thing that always confuses me.
Sure.
Insurance jargon.
Oh, yeah.
All those terms like deductibles and premiums and liability coverage.
Right, right.
What does it all mean?
Yeah, it's a whole different language. And I think that's a big reason why people just kind of avoid dealing with it altogether.
Right.
But if you understand the basics, it can really help you make those smart decisions.
Okay.
So let's break it down a little bit.
Perfect. Yeah, let's start with liability coverage because I know that's important.
Okay.
But can you explain exactly what it covers?
So this is really the foundation of any car insurance policy.
Okay.
It's what protects you financially if you're at fault in an accident
Okay.
and you cause damage to somebody else's property or, even worse, you injure somebody.
So it's not even about covering like my own car,
Right.
but protecting me from the financial fallout of maybe harming someone else.
Exactly. It's protecting you from that liability
Okay.
if you cause harm to another person or their property.
Okay. That makes more sense. And, there are actually two types of liability coverage
Yes.
that you need to know about. So bodily injury liability covers those medical expenses,
Yeah.
Lost wages, even pain and suffering
Right.
for anyone that you injure.
That's right.
And then property damage liability that covers the cost of repairing or replacing the other person's vehicle.
Yes. Or anything else that you damaged, like a fence or a light post.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a safety net for me and anyone else who might be involved.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
great way to think about it. And the amount of liability coverage that you need really depends on, your own circumstances and how much risk you're comfortable with.
Okay. So how do I even know if I have enough?
Well, that's where talking to, an insurance agent or a broker can be helpful.
Right.
They can look at your situation and help you understand the minimums in your state and guide you toward,
Okay.
a coverage level that provides you with enough protection.
And speaking of, looking at our situation, I know you mentioned earlier we should be reviewing our policy regularly.
Yes.
Does that mean more often than like just once a year when it's time to renew?
Things change in life. Your
Right.
driving habits change.
Yeah.
Your insurance needs change.
Right.
Maybe you got married or you had a kid or you moved to a new city.
Got a new car?
Yeah, got a new car. Any
Yeah.
of these things could impact your rates and coverage.
So it's not just a set it and forget it kind of thing. I need to like actively be managing that.
Right. You want to make sure that your policy is evolving along with your life.
Okay. So like a financial checkup for my car insurance.
Exactly.
Like that.
Good way to think about it.
Maybe every 6 months or so, just go through and make sure everything still makes sense.
Yeah, just to make sure it's aligned with your needs and you're not paying for things that you don't need anymore.
Okay. I'm adding that to my calendar.
All right.
Now let's talk about the other types of coverages beyond liability, because one of the sources that you sent
Yeah,
goes into a lot of detail about all these different options, and it is
it's a lot.
a lot. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So let's try to break it down.
Okay, let's focus on the most important ones.
Okay.
So we've already talked about liability, but another really important one is collision coverage.
Okay.
And that's what covers damage to your own car
Okay.
if you are at fault in an accident.
So if I like back into a pole at the grocery store,
Yep.
or I don't know, accidentally sideswipe a parked car,
Yep.
that would help pay for the repairs
Exactly. It would cover your car.
to my vehicle.
Yeah, and it's particularly important if you have a newer car or one that you're still making payments on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to be stuck with a damaged car and a huge bill.
Exactly.
So collision.
Yep.
What about comprehensive coverage?
Okay, so comprehensive is kind of like it picks up where collision leaves off.
Okay.
It covers damage to your car from things that are not collisions.
Okay.
So things like theft, vandalism, fire, natural disasters hitting an animal.
Wow. So like a whole range of things that are kind of out of my control.
Exactly. All those unexpected things.
Like hailstorms or a tree falling on my car.
Yep. Or somebody keys your car in the parking lot.
Okay, this is starting to feel like all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together.
Oh, good.
But with all of these different types of coverage, how do I know what I really need?
Right.
Because it's tempting to just get the bare minimum to save money.
Sure.
But I also don't want to be, left vulnerable.
Right. Well, and that's a smart way to approach it. It's about finding that balance between cost and coverage.
Yeah.
And, honestly, the best advice I can give you is don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
Talk to your insurance agent, talk to your broker, explain your situation,
Okay.
and they can guide you towards the right coverage for your needs and your budget.
So it's like having an insurance coach in my corner.
Exactly.
Okay. You've got somebody on your team.
But I'm also realizing that I need to be a little more proactive on my end.
Absolutely. Being
Yeah.
passive with your insurance can cost you money.
Okay, so how can I be a more proactive insurance ninja?
All right. So challenge your insurer on your rates.
Okay.
Ask for clarification, on your coverage. And maybe most importantly, hunt for those discounts.
Ooh,
They're out there.
like a discount treasure hunt.
It is, but you might have to dig a little to find them.
So what kind of discounts should I be looking for?
Well, we talked about bundling.
Right.
We talked about the telematics discounts.
Yeah.
But there are also discounts for things like being a safe driver, being a good student.
Oh, having certain safety features in your car,
Right.
installing anti-theft devices, or even belonging to, certain organizations or groups.
Wow. I had no idea. There were so many possibilities.
There's a lot.
Okay, I'm ready to call my insurance company and see what I'm missing out on.
That's the spirit. And remember, you can stack those discounts to really maximize your savings.
Ooh, yeah, like a discount combo meal.
Exactly.
Okay, I love it. I'm really getting into this insurance ninja training now.
Good.
But before we get too carried away with discounts, I do want to make sure we touch on keeping good records.
Yes, absolutely.
Because this is something that I think a lot of people don't think about.
Right.
But it can really save you a lot of headaches down the line.
It can. Documenting everything is so important.
Yeah.
So keep a file with all your insurance paperwork, your policy documents,
Right.
any correspondence with your insurer,
Yeah.
any records of accidents, repairs, even parking tickets.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that tendency to just shove everything in a drawer and forget about it.
Right. And then when you need it, you can't find it.
Yeah.
So having everything organized and accessible can really be a lifesaver if you need to file a claim or, dispute a charge.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of claims.
Yes, that's what we're going to tackle next.
Okay.
Let's take another little pause here.
Right.
And when we come back, we'll dive into that world of insurance claims, how to file them effectively, how to navigate the process and how to avoid those common pitfalls.
Perfect, because that is definitely something that I need more information on. Okay, so we're back, and I am ready to tackle this whole world of insurance claims.
Yeah.
Because this is something that, hopefully we never have to deal with,
Right.
but it's good to be prepared.
It's important to know what to do if you ever find yourself in that situation.
Yeah, so before we dive into the specifics of, how to file a claim and all of that,
Yeah.
let's kind of recap everything we've learned so far,
Okay, sounds good.
because we have covered so much ground.
We have, we've talked about shopping around. We talk about those deductibles.
Right.
We've tried to decipher some of that insurance jargon and, just become a more proactive insurance consumer overall.
Yeah, I feel like a totally different person when it comes to my car insurance.
Good. I'm glad.
But if I had to just boil it all down to a few key takeaways,
Yeah.
what would you say are the most important things for our listener to remember?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, never underestimate the power of comparison.
Yes.
You absolutely have to shop around.
Yes.
You cannot just assume that your current insurer is giving you the best deal.
Or that they're all the same.
Yeah, they're definitely not all the same. And, while we're talking about assumptions,
Yeah.
let's touch on deductibles again.
Okay.
Raising your deductible can be a tempting way to lower your premiums,
Right.
but it's not a decision that you should make lightly.
Right. You really have to think about,
Yeah.
How much risk am I willing to take on?
Exactly. And if you do opt for that higher deductible, make absolutely sure that you have the money set aside.
Yes.
To cover that expense.
Right. Don't put yourself in a bad financial situation.
Exactly.
Just to save a few bucks a month.
Right.
Okay. And we also explored the whole world of telematics insurance.
Yeah.
Which I think can be a real game changer for certain people.
It can be.
Especially younger drivers.
Yes.
Who are often, kind of unfairly penalized with those really high rates.
Just because of their age, yeah.
Yeah. So if you are a safe and responsible driver, this could be the way to prove it.
Yeah. It's a great way to demonstrate that.
Maybe save some money.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, we talked about the more classic strategy of bundling.
Bundling, yeah.
Combining all those policies.
Right. Your car insurance with your homeowners or your renter's insurance.
Yeah.
Often that can lead to some pretty significant savings.
Yeah. It's like, buy one, get one free.
Yeah, exactly.
With your insurance.
Yeah.
But even with that, we have to remember.
Yes.
Compare costs. Make sure it really is the best deal.
Right. You want to make sure you're actually saving money.
Okay. But one of my favorite takeaways from this whole deep dive is becoming a discount detective.
Yes, there are so many discounts out there that people just aren't aware of.
I know.
So be proactive.
Yeah.
Ask your insurer about any possible discount that you can think of.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to provide documentation to prove you're eligible for those discounts.
And remember, those discounts can be stacked.
Yes, absolutely. It's like creating your own little discount combo meal.
Okay, so we have talked about everything from choosing the right coverage to negotiating those rates.
We have.
To finding all those discounts.
Yes.
But before we wrap up this whole conversation, I want to leave our listener with a challenge.
Okay, I love a good challenge. What do you have in mind?
So now that you've been armed with all of this incredible knowledge about car insurance, I challenge you to take action on at least one of these strategies this week.
Yeah, just one small step can make a big difference.
Could save you a lot of money.
Absolutely.
In the long run.
In the long run. And remember, understanding your insurance options gives you the power to make those smart choices.
Yeah.
And it gives you that peace of mind when you're on the road.
Absolutely. So go forth, dear listener.
Yes.
Armed with your insurance ninja skills.
That's right.
And conquer the world of car insurance.
You got this.
With confidence and a lighter wallet.
Happy saving, everyone.
Yes. Until next time, this is the Deep Dive signing off.
Please subscribe to our channel for more videos.